ever connect you ever do like that whole like I can connect one person to another person by things they've done?
Through Steam.
No, like just in real life. Like I can connect Maria Kanellis back to herself. You ready for
What?
this? Oh yeah, here we go. So Maria, the the wrestler, manager, whatever, was dating Dolph Ziggler, kayfabe. I'm not sure if it was real or not, but she was dating him in the storyline, and Dolph Ziggler was the Intercontinental Champion at the time. And Zebrahead, in their song for Sonic '06, used the term Intergalactic Continental Champ, which Dolph Ziggler somewhat was, without the galactic part, and Zebrahead also did the song Legs Like That, which was used as Maria's entrance music. I just connected Maria right back to herself. Do you
Oh.
remember Maria's entrance music?
You mean like there she
There
goes
she goes again,
again.
like good medicine.
Never
Every
saying,
step she
every
takes, my blood is
Saturday, my blood is
flowing.
flowing.
Her
Her
legs
legs go
go
on
on
and
for
on for
days.
days.
I hear the Friends theme in the background. So no one told you life was gonna be that way. You're listening to the Can You Handle This cast with Faith and Salvadoom. That's right, guys. You're listening to the Can You Handle This cast. I am Faith, joined as always by my partner in rhyme.
Salvadoom.
And we are just weeks away from the Royal Rumble happening. I believe we are 2 weeks off. Or is it 2 weeks?
Got 2 weeks from Sunday.
2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Yeah,
something like
2 weeks
that.
from Sunday. Yeah.
Either way, it's around the corner. We got people saying that they're going to be in it left and right, and so many announcements right now that we actually have to talk about the WWE nowadays. I mean, the last couple weeks we sort of talked about one topic and then kind of brushed over Raw and SmackDown, but I think it's about this point that we at least gotta go into a bit of detail on them, and I guess it all starts with Monday night.
Yes, Monday Night Raw.
Can I say something? This was the first episode of Raw in a long time that I actually watched because I was working Mondays and that sort of thing. I actually watched this, and man, Raw is boring nowadays, man.
Well, I was trying to warn you. I kept warning you, like, look, Raw's not that important. Raw's not that good anymore. Uh, Part of me wants to die every time I see Enzo and Cass now.
I feel like it should be good though because it's Monday Night Raw. It's supposed to be the flagship show, 3 hours, has all their biggest names. But what I've seen is Raw is main eventers, and then nobody cares past that.
Yeah, and like, look at all these storylines that you see in like Monday Night Raw as of right now. Like, tell me what storylines do you see right now that you think are important for, like, say, the Royal Rumble?
Something that's important going to the Rumble. Uh,
Yes.
Undertaker doing whatever it is he's doing, which by the way they shot the camera angle, I'm assuming he's got something to do with Braun Strowman, and I'm guessing whatever the New Day are up to, because I know they're in the Rumble, and I mean Rusev and Cass maybe, but other than that, it's just the same old, Seth Rollins doing his thing against the McMahons or whatever, Triple H and all them, and then you got Roman Reigns trying to win the belt, and just the same thing we've been seeing since the last like 3 pay-per-views.
And that's where I kind of like stopped caring a lot about Raw. From since we started doing the podcast, like, we started banter. I started telling you, like, the events of Raw. I was like, oh, this thing happened and this thing happened, but the few things that I actually care about, it was meh at best.
Honestly, the only things I remember about this is the segment they did with Enzo and Cass, Rusev, Lana, Jinder Mahal, and
Shawn
and Shawn
Michaels.
Michaels, where Shawn Michaels came out to shill his movie, and Enzo was in a wheelchair. It was like a hover around thing. I thought that was funny. And then you had uh, Big Cass making a pianist joke, which I don't understand. Like, yeah, I mean, it sounds like that, but come on, man. It's like making a Schindler's List joke. You just don't do it.
Like this is what I keep hating about WWE in general, like saying like, oh, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. I understand this is how wrestling works. But don't make the good guy show his penis to the bad guy's wife. Don't
And
make the just don't make the good guy seem like the everyday bad guy. Don't make the bad guy seem like a good husband because that's what Rusev is. He's a good husband and a good friend.
and one thing I thought was weird was I never thought I would see the day where Rusev had to carry Shawn Michaels through a promo. It's baffling, it's mind-boggling, but it's what happened. Like Shawn Michaels couldn't really get his words out, and the jokes weren't all clicking there. And Rusev just had to rebound, and he rebounded pretty nicely. It's just like, I don't know if that's an American joke because I really don't get it. Like Rusev was quick to sort of scoop up what Shawn Michaels sort of dropped the ball on.
Yeah, and that's why I was like really disappointed because like yeah, it's Shawn Michaels, but then again, he's promoting a movie.
A
Like
Christian movie, no less.
yes. So I kind of like expected this entire thing to like, oh, it's not going to go well because he's promoting a Christian movie. He can't say suck it because he this is in D Generation X. Triple H is not there to help him. And like if you really think about it, Shawn Michaels was the weak link in promos for D Generation X if it involved Triple H in the ring.
Well, when it's just those two, definitely. But when
Yeah.
you throw in the other ones, because you got to think, China was part of the group, Billy Gunn was part of the group, Ravishing Rick Rude in his later years was part of the group. Like outside of them, the only people I could think that were better than Shawn in promos were probably Triple H and the Road Dogg.
Yeah. And this is why this promo, like this entire promo for the movie, this entire segment was kind of like iffy for me. Like the penis joke, I'm like, really? Is like they make it look like Big Cass is the smart one of the group because he actually understood what a pianist is. And like Enzo's like, oh God, you can't say it. I'm like, it's a piano player.
It reminds me of in Roadblock when Big E was saying getting Roadblock is when you're getting with your girl and your roommate comes in and they have to correct him saying no, it's a different kind of block. Like they kind of take a joke that's borderline PG-13 and just saying no, 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 don't do it, don't go there. Like what DX did back in like 2012, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Was it 2012? Might have been earlier, but regardless, it's just that sort of thing. It's the same sort of promo that we see from the New Day, and honestly, it wasn't awful. It was just kind of like, okay, just get on with it. This is the same thing that you're doing. But it did lead to a match between, I believe, was it Jinder Mahal and Big Cass?
Yes. And
And Shawn Michaels got a super kick in, believe it or not, guys.
him and Gene's doing super kicks, it makes a lot of sense now.
Kicking a Bulgarian dead in the face.
I mean, wouldn't you if you're Shawn Michaels?
I mean, yeah, you got to do it for the honor of Gavin Stone, man. I'm telling you. And everyone go see the resurrection of Gavin Stone in theaters whenever. Check your local box office. They're probably not carrying it.
Yeah, because I think it's like select theaters or something.
I mean, probably, but yeah, like it's probably in like 2 theaters in your entire state. Like for us, it's probably just going to be in Dover, and that's it.
It's like in one theater and they show it once.
It's like one of those special things where you got to be a backer on Kickstarter just to watch it.
Oh, Kickstarter.
I mean, it looks like an interesting movie and all that. It's just like when you knew coming into this that Shawn Michaels was, this isn't DX Shawn Michaels comeback. This is Shawn Michaels promoting Gavin Stone, the movie. You kind of thought, okay, he's just going to show up, show the movie, and leave, which is exactly what he did. However, we did get a bit of a extra teaser there because it said that the Undertaker was going to be there, and early in the night they were building up to it, saying, "All right." Stephanie came to Mick Foley, said, "Look, Mick. By the way, Mick Foley shaved his head again." But uh, on a side note, Stephanie McMahon basically said, "Mick, I'm doing your performance review tonight. You've done some good things. You've done a lot of bad things. If you don't get the Undertaker in this ring, I'm probably going to have to find a new general manager." And so the entire night was just Mick Foley looking around, asking for the Undertaker, asking all different people. I'm shocked he didn't like track down Kane or something and ask him where the Undertaker was. Like that's where I thought they were going with it. But eventually, the Undertaker did show up, and he made quite the announcement that I honestly didn't see coming, and I don't know how it's really going to play out.
Yeah, the Undertaker announced that he will be a part of the Royal Rumble match, which, in theory, he is the only man in this Rumble that is unassociated to any brand. You can say Goldberg is that, but technically he's part of Raw because he is not showing up on SmackDown. So my theory is this will lead to a rivalry at going to WrestleMania. But it'll depend on how it plays out in the Rumble. It's either going to be Strowman or it's either going to be Cena, one or the other.
I've got 4 possible pathways for the Undertaker to go. Okay, so I say that if the Undertaker loses, then he's going to be going up against. All right, if the Undertaker loses and John Cena loses to AJ Styles, then it's going to set up Undertaker versus John Cena. If Undertaker loses and John Cena beats AJ Styles, then it's going to set up Undertaker versus Braun Strowman. If Undertaker wins and John Cena wins, that's another pathway to Undertaker versus John Cena. But if Undertaker wins and John Cena loses, then that'll set up Undertaker versus, I'm assuming, AJ Styles.
Which, if you're like ever a WWE fan and always wondered, hey, what if the two guys from two different promotions that never betrayed each other until AJ Styles left TNA, if I may say that, but just imagine those two together. Like, imagine that was like that fantasy warfare becomes real aspect of it, because people never thought you would see AJ Styles in a WWE ring. Now he's in the WWE ring. Now he might be facing the Undertaker.
I feel like of the 3, like the one that we don't want to see out of all of it is Strowman Undertaker. I don't want to see that. I feel like they won't work well because Undertaker usually doesn't work that well against big guys that aren't, super mobile like Kane. Like him versus Boss Man wasn't the best match. Him versus Great Gonzalez wasn't good. Him versus Bundy wasn't good. Like, unless you're super agile like Kane, then it's probably not going to be the best. Him versus Cena is probably going to have the most hype around it and probably going to get the most buys for the network and pay-per-views and people going out to Buffalo Wild Wings and that sort of thing. But him versus Styles is probably going to be the best match that's possible. But I feel like somebody else could probably have a better match with Styles, which we will get to once we get our top 5 list. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a top 5 list of our top 5 people that we say are going to win it later.
Yes, and not only that, I have I think a top 3 of surprise entrants, because you never know. Because as the old saying goes, anything can happen here in the WWE.
Fantasy warfare is about to get real, ladies and gentlemen.
Even though we saw it at least once.
At least twice. What are you kidding?
I don't know. Hey, I'm not the WWE.
I mean, you're not wrong. The only other big thing I remember is we have a new United States champion, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Everyone's favorite Canadian. That's right. Kevin Owens' best friend, Chris Jericho, won the one title that eluded him his entire career. Now, whoa.
Did Jericho ever win the U.S. title in WCW?
I'm not sure, but
I feel like that's what him and Malenko were going after, wasn't it? I may be
Uh,
wrong. That may have been some other title, but I feel like Jericho may have won in WCW, but WWE wise, no. This I believe this does this complete his WWE Grand Slam?
I believe so because he has won the undisputed champion. He was European champion. He was Intercontinental champion. He was tag team champion. He was he King of the Ring? No, wait, that was another person I was thinking about.
No, that
For
that
some
was
reason,
Kurt Angle.
yeah, it was Kurt Angle. Yes, I think this actually completes his Grand Slam.
Yeah, I mean he was. I think the only one that he hasn't won is the cruiserweight title, but he's not even eligible for that, so I wouldn't see how that works. He was hardcore champion too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a hardcore champion for a while. Not even a while. I think it was for like a day.
Still, I mean, I think that completes his Grand Slam
Yeah.
for eligibility, anyways.
I'm looking at it right here. He is a former undisputed champion, world heavyweight champion, WCW champion, WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion, European Hardcore, Unified, WWE Tag Team, WWE Tag Team. He's the ninth Triple Crown champion. Yes, he's a fourth Grand Slam champion too. So I
There we
think
go.
with his United States Championship, he has completed it. He just completed it now.
It's probably completed for a second time now because he won in the old standards back before the U.S. title, and I guess he won in the current standards as well.
Yes.
It's sort of like a Big Show, how Big Show won it twice, I believe.
I'm looking at it right now. When all wrestling both the talents of the original format. Um, Current format. Yeah, the current format. It doesn't really say that it, but look at right now. It does says he's a Grand Slam and Triple Crown champion, but it doesn't show that. It doesn't show that he is actually like won the. It doesn't even say like the United States Championship, but oh yes, it does. Current standing Grand Slam champion. Yeah, January 9th, 2017. That's official Grand Slam championship now.
Well, there you go. So good for you, Jericho. Hopefully your title reign is nice and long, and hopefully it potentially runs into something with Kevin Owens. You never know. But
Yeah,
that's about all I could really think of that was really stand outish on Raw, other than just the same old thing. A couple good promos here and there, but other than that, nothing really that caught my eye. I mean, Gallagher is setting stuff up for later with him and Arya Davari, and Cedric Alexander is doing his thing, and I guess that's sort of it for Raw.
yeah, yeah. That's why I kind of like Raw is that show that you will play in the background now. That's what I've been doing for the past few months. I play in the background. If I hear something that I like, I'll look towards it. If I don't, I'll look away. But
This was the first time in a while that I actually kind of thought about falling asleep during wrestling, dude.
and that's pretty bad because
That's
usually
always bad.
because Wrestle Kingdom kept us awake.
Well, I mean, events always keep me awake, but this was nowhere near event status, man.
Yeah, it's just like a normal day of Raw.
And it seems like SmackDown was a bit better, but it's sort of falling into the same, like, okay, we've seen this before. Really the few things I can think of that really stood out was Kalisto beating Dolph Ziggler and leading further and further into Ziggler's slow burning heel turn, probably setting up something with Apollo Crews. And American Alpha defended their championships against the Wyatt family, giving the Wyatt family their second loss in a row after being pretty dominant. And it seems like tensions are growing more and more and more between Randy Orton and Luke Harper, which honestly I feel like everyone's saying, oh, Randy Orton's going to go out on his own. He's going to, be back with it. And the Wyatt family are going to be down to just Harper and Wyatt. But I've been saying this for a while. I think that they're better off letting Harper do his own thing on his own and letting Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt be a really dominant tag team, because They won the titles with those two, and they've lost it when Luke Harper got in there. So if you can keep Bray and Randy on the same page, then I could see them going far as a tag team, and it gives them both something to do. But if it goes back to Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt, the team that's lost pay-per-view match after pay-per-view match after pay-per-view match, it's going to fall into the same old thing.
Yeah. And like I'm actually glad that like as you said, like with Orton, like having something to do. Like I think personally for me, Orton is past that point. Like he is past the point of, oh, like he's like main event material because like how long has he been in the main event scene?
And just think, he up to a few like months ago, he had nothing to do. Like he wasn't on TV barely at all. I don't remember the last time he went for a title match outside of with the Wyatts, and
I
honestly,
think it
I think
was
he's better off being on a tag team and helping the Wyatts like gain momentum than he is sitting there and just letting himself be mid card fodder to the newer guys.
but I think over the past year, like last year and the year before that, he was injured. So
Still,
that's why I'm
even before he got injured, he wasn't doing anything. He was just kind of letting Seth Rollins beat him.
true.
He hasn't done anything real main caliber since I believe WrestleMania 30 when he was in the triple threat title match.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you might be right on that. Excuse me.
Regardless, they announced that Alexa Bliss is going to defend her belt against Becky Lynch in a steel cage next week. I believe it's the first time that it's been a women's steel cage match in WWE, I believe, and they're putting it on free TV.
That is right. I hope and pray that this match goes into a bloody mess
You
because
would.
I want to see because look, okay, this is my mentality on professional wrestling. Intergender matches are fine as long as both parties are consenting on they want to put on the best damn match possible. I'm
This
all
isn't an
for
intergender match, though.
I know, but this is the idea I'm going with. Like I want the best possible match. I want the best possible match for these two because they're competing against Raw's women's division. And remember last year, they had the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match, first ever women's street fight main eventing Raw, the first ever women's last man standing. They have to like raise that bar a bit. So I'm not saying levels of Edge versus Matt Hardy at Unforgiven 2005.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I don't want to go that far. I'm just saying that I want this match to be good. I want this match to have the proper build, like proper momentum into the proper finish. I want to see that match have a great finish. That's just what I want.
I feel like it will, and I guess we'll just have to see. And I guess I wish that would have been the main event, like that sort of build up there, and leave us on that. But it left us with John Cena versus Baron Corbin, and it was a typical 2009 John Cena match. He did his 5 moves and he won. Basically, like after seeing all these amazing matches, it just makes me just think, John Cena, why are you working these matches on SmackDown when you only come into play when it's either a title match or a pay-per-view match? Those are the only two kinds that he seems to really show up. So it's like, why even bother doing SmackDown if you're not going to try, dude?
I think it's mostly because like it started off with the whole thing of he is he the Rock, and then he kept saying, "Oh, I'm not the Rock. I'm gonna do this while doing Hollywood," and look what happened to the Rock on that part.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but for this, I'm ashamed that it ended up with Baron Corbin. Like I'm ashamed that it ended up with that because like him burying Corbin, but not burying it to the extent that like he can never recover. I mean, like Baron Corbin is the future star. I've been reading a lot of articles and browsing through my Facebook. I keep seeing articles saying like Baron Corbin could be the future of WWE. his personality, his character. He is the all around bad heel. He can be a really good heel in the future, and I want to see him progress further. So I was hoping for him to actually beat Cena, but as usual, Cena always wins because
I guess you're kind of throwing that as a red herring to, oh, he might beat AJ Styles at the Rumble, but I mean, unless Corbin does something big and beats him next week to get his momentum back, which it's not happening because Cena's not fighting next week. He's probably not fighting until the Rumble. But unless Corbin does something, big, then this is all just a waste of time, them getting all this momentum behind Baron Corbin.
yeah. But actually, never mind. I was gonna go into like why I think like Corbin might be the future, but this might actually like end up going for the Rumble.
Yeah,
Like
I
Rumble
think we already
prediction.
know, but we'll definitely get to that. But afterwards, 205 Live, we had Noam Dar versus Cedric Alexander fighting for the honor of Alicia Fox, and Noam Dar actually went over because Alicia Fox pulled him out of the way when Cedric was going for a moonsault, I believe, and pretty much messed him out of the win there. And Cedric basically dumped her. She said, "You know what? Just go be with your pervy little boyfriend you got there. I'll do me, you do you," and just walked away from her. And she screamed so loud she broke her microphone. Like she pitched it out, and good lord, like she can definitely scream, man. So I guess that's good for you, Gnome. You got a screamer. Anyways, afterwards, you had Kendrick versus Sean Maluda. I wish they would do something good with Sean Maluda. He's one of the few Samoan guys that I actually really really enjoy watching. Um, but Brian Kendrick was playing off the fact that he got misted last week. So it was like, oh, my eyes are still kind of off there. But I mean, honestly, Sean Malone is just a jobber at this point. I don't see them doing anything big with him, which makes me sad because I really like the guy. But I guess this is all just a build up to Akira Tozawa coming out, probably going against Brian Kendrick sometime soon. Then after that, they had a parlay between Arya Davari and Jack Gallagher, pretty much saying, hey, we're going to have ourselves an I quit match, but he's calling it an I forfeit match because, gentlemen and all that. And then it ended with Tony Nese versus Rich Swann in a pretty good match, and Swan ended up going over after his really good back kick, and it's just another build up for later when they have Neville versus Rich Swann at the Rumble. So that takes those two out of the Rumble. So no, can you handle this coming out in the Rumble? Sadly,
and just to have him get thrown out afterwards.
I still would
But
have liked it.
yeah, I would too. But like after all this, I think we need a little palate cleanser from the stereotypical WWE to a more sophisticated, a more subterranean form of the Spanish variation of lucha libre. That's
Are
right.
you
We're talking
talking
about
Subterranean Lucha?
yes, I'm talking about subterranean lucha right here. Lucha Underground, the mid-season finale, right here, right now, here on the Can You Handle This cast.
The
As in, we
mid-season
saw it last.
finale that
Kind of,
posed more questions than it answered. To be fair,
which made me very angry because I really, really, really wanted to see the all-night match last night.
but I guess
Is
we
that
gotta wait like 5 years or whatever to see it longer.
it's just total summer.
Still, man, like that's what 6 months away from the match. Like, come on, why couldn't you do it before it and put the intrigue into it for the fallout? Like, why would you sit there and make us wait to the point where we're gonna forget this is even happening?
I blame what is it? Rot. Whoa,
I blame Vampiro. I blame Rey Mysterio Jr.
I blame the glass that couldn't break.
Oh my god, the glass. So in this match you had Matanza going up against, who was he going against? It was Aerostar?
No, he was going against Dragon Azteca
Dragon Azteca.
Jr.
That's right. He's going against Dragon Azteca, and after or during the match, the first match they had, Matanza punched a set of glass that was supposed to be breakaway glass, but it wasn't, and he cut his artery, I believe, and he was just gushing blood, and to the point where he had to be rushed to the hospital, and they had to reshoot the entire episode over again. So this time he was smarter, didn't Goldberg himself, and ended up not punching glass, but still looking pretty dominant, but also dying. Well, first he put Dragon Azteca Jr. off the stairs through a table, and then Rey Mysterio Jr. shows up to check on him. They start fighting on the top, and Rey, I believe, Hurricane Rana's him, or back body drops him, or something along those lines, off the top of the temple, through a little side room they had there, and we think he might be dead.
Yeah, he may or may not be dead in Lucha Underground, which is funny because like you kind of think like, oh, professional wrestling, like they can't go far. Then you watch Lucha Underground, and you keep thinking to yourself, wait, they just witnessed a murder?
Yeah, and they played off like that because the last person to do it, which was who was the
Uh,
last person in that sort of match?
King Cuerno,
King Cuerno. Where has King Cuerno been recently?
dead.
Dead. Yeah, that's right. He hasn't come back. He is dead. He died, and he is dead. He is dead. Rest in peace, King Cuerno. So it makes us think, man, Dragon Azteca Jr. is now dead.
And like this is what I like about the Lucha Underground product. You never know, like if someone's gonna die, whether it be through kayfabe or not. Like they just die. They don't come
Basically.
back. There is no restart unless it's some weird voodoo magic like they did with Mil Muertes.
Yeah, that's probably the only sort of thing. Like if Katrina decides to bring you back, it's Katrina that brings people back, right?
Uh, yeah, it's her and like the weird voodoo magic that has to do with the what was it? Oh yeah, the obsidian crystal that Katrina always has
Yeah,
with
yeah.
her.
If the crystal is on your side, I guess like it seems to be with Muertes the first time, but apparently not anymore. Then you're pretty good, which makes you think maybe she's going to finally decide to bring back Cuerno or something. But until then, they're just dead.
Yeah, and like that's like the weird thing though. Like Lucha Underground is this like really dark world, and yet you kind of had like the weird aspects of it. Like look at the entire roster of Lucha Underground, and from there, like look at all the dark characters and look at all the weird characters.
It's pretty much the entire roster.
Yeah, because each character could either be really dark or really funny,
The
and
on,
not
the only character I can think of that probably doesn't fit into one of those two characters, but fits into the third tier of really good backstory, would probably be Killshot and his old partner.
yeah. If for those of you who do not know, Lucha Underground has the quote open door policy where any wrestler, any fighter of any type can show up and just wrestle. So Killshot is a former Army Marine veteran
I think it was a
who
seal. Was he a seal?
yeah he was a Navy SEAL who he fought in Iraq, but he deserted his troops, he deserted his platoon just to live, which if I know from the military is a big no.
Yeah, so he's basically, not in good terms with the military. But turns out one of the people that he deserted, that was, tortured and kidnapped for information, that sort of thing, survived, and he's out for blood.
That's right, he is out for blood, but afterwards I didn't really see anything out of it. So it kind of like makes you think, will this be a season 3 or will this be an Ultima Lucha thing?
They sort of touched on it during Battle of the Bulls, but I feel like it's something that's still building.
Yes. And Not only that, like Lucha Underground has so many storylines crossing each other. And if they're not crossing each other, they're going to eventually cross each other because this mid-season finale also ended up with Marty the Moth Martinez getting kidnapped by his own sister.
Pretty much brainwashing him, it seemed like.
Yeah, because like he's crazy.
He's crazy. Basically, it just makes you want to see what's going to happen next, but I just wish it wasn't 6 months, because I hope I still have the same, remembrance and will to see what happens that I have now, 6 months later, when we finally get it. But I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Robert Rodriguez, why do you do this to us?
Because he owns the El Rey Network and Lucha Underground, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
You are not wrong. And on the flip side, on the more polished side, we got NXT results. Nothing big really happening outside of the main event. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay beat Sarah Bridges and Macy Evans in a tag team match. Wasn't awful. Elias Sampson beat Jonathan Cruz in a match. Of course, they're still pushing Elias Sampson as being this big sort of guy. Adrian Cien Almas beat Oni Lorcan in a match, and in probably the match of the night, and a really, 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 really good match. Probably not of the year, but probably of the month. Hashtag DIY defended their title successfully against the Revival in a really good match. I mean, it was definitely an A plus match.
Yeah, and I believe this is the not. Wait, no, it isn't. I thought this was the last match, like the last NXT event before the Rumble, before NXT Takeover San Antonio. But as of right now, I think that they've announced a few matches, if I'm not mistaken. I
Yeah,
think most, yeah,
we'll cover them in a bit once we get to like our Royal Rumble predictions and that sort of thing.
yeah. And actually, like I think that's it for Lucha Underground because like mid-season finale and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we
And
won't be covering Lucha in a while, and Impact was tonight. Some good matches. The Hardys defended their titles against the Wolves successfully, and they're building up Jade versus what's your girl's name? Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Rosemary in a Monsters Ball match, which I haven't seen. I don't know if it's because I don't watch Impact all that much, but I haven't seen this since RVD versus Abyss.
Abyss. Where RVD was murdered.
He was literally murdered.
There was blood everywhere. Nobody could cover it.
One day I'm going to set that as our background for our podcast.
We just do like an entire like remember that. Remember that.
Remember that? I remember. I remember RVD dying.
I remember watching that like live, like as like TNA was airing on Spec TV. I remember watching it and I was actually scared. Like, did I witness some murder?
That was
Because
one of
it
the
was
last episodes of Impact I remember watching, weekly basis wise, because that was around the same time when Austin Aries was starting to gain momentum as well. Because I remember it, because I remember seeing Austin Aries and be like, this guy is the future, and this guy is going to one day shove his thumb in my eye.
you and your thumb in the eye.
I love you, Austin, man. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the week in wrestling. I guess now we can get to our top 5 people that we think can win the Royal Rumble. Do you want to start with your number 5?
Yes, my number 5, my top 5 Rumble winners, and I will give you a brief explanation on why. My number 5 pick, The Undertaker, because why not? It's his home state. Maybe he has one final push of a title run or one final push for a title opportunity up his sleeve. You never know. Roman Reigns, because why not? Then I realized he might be in the shark cage match, but then again, they sometimes give the losers opportunities.
They wouldn't put it past Roman Reigns to work 2 matches. Like, come on now, you gotta think about it.
They make Kevin Owens work 2 matches. Remember that table flip? Remember that?
Of course.
All right, if it isn't Reigns, maybe I might put my boy Rusev up in there, even though it's never gonna happen.
I mean, it
Baron.
could. It
I
could
mean,
for all we
yeah,
know.
yeah, it could. You never know for this. Baron Corbin, because of this, he's won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so it gives him the pristine advantage of not fucking up the Rumble. But that's a big. I'm putting that out there as the dark horse of my picks. Like you never know. Like you never know with Corbin. The Miz
The Miz for your
because
number one.
no, actually, Miz is for my number two. Why I put that? Never mind. Miz is gonna be my number one, but the next will be my number two. The Miz because he just recently dropped the Intercontinental title, and there's a lot of talk on SmackDown saying like the Miz is not that good anymore because he lost his title, he lost his edge. Maybe this is the one thing he needs. Maybe he needs that one Rumble win to complete his historic career of being one of the best damn champions out there. And for my number two pick, which I'm naming now, Seth Rollins, because hopefully this builds up his rivalry with Triple H.
But if he wins it, then it wouldn't really do anything unless Triple H wins the title, and Triple H isn't winning the title anytime soon.
I know, but this could be maybe at WrestleMania. Triple H interferes in this match, or maybe this sets up a match maybe at the Raw pay per view before WrestleMania, where Triple H shows up and like interferes in the match, putting himself in the main event.
Maybe, yeah. Anyways, I feel like my list is sort of similar to yours, but also it's got some little minor tweaks here and there. My number five has got to be the Undertaker. You could probably go back to my possible routes for the Undertaker to sort of think, my things. It was kind of 50-50 on that one. My number four is probably Baron Corbin. If you want to continue Baron Corbin without him winning the title, then definitely have him set up in that sort of thing. Have him go for a world title, and he's already won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, as you said, so it's just a matter of time before he wins the Rumble. My number three is probably Chris Jericho, and Jericho's already confirmed he's the U.S. champion, so what better way to go into it than, have him win the Royal Rumble and have him potentially facing either Kevin Owens, his best friend, or facing Roman Reigns, the man who beat his best friend. My number two is probably, I gotta think about this for a second. If I had to pick one, I had to go with The Miz, because Miz just lost the IC title. He's got the world in front of him. He's on one of the biggest hot streaks that he's ever been in his career. What better way than to win the Rumble and go on and go for a title at WrestleMania, his second WrestleMania main event. And number one, it's got to be the man, the myth, the legend himself, Finn Balor. Honestly, Finn Balor can't go wrong no matter which way he goes if he wins this. If Finn Balor wins the Universal title at WrestleMania, then it's going to be him on one side, AJ Styles on the other. Or, in my mind, I think he's going to choose to go for the WWE SmackDown Championship and have Bullet Club A versus Bullet Club B in the main event. And this is all hanging on whether or not Finn Balor is medically cleared to compete, if he's healthy or not. But I feel like it's been so much time that he's at least ready for it in at least a small capacity.
Yeah. And actually, I'm not really sure if they're allowed to pick other brands if they win the Rumble. I'm not sure about this.
I mean,
They
they
never.
used to be able to because that's what
Yes.
Batista did back
That's
forever ago.
yeah, and that's what Wait, never mind. He never did that. Uh, but I'm not sure if they're going to do that this time. They might need to clarify the rules. They might clarify the day of the Rumble.
I feel like
But
it should work that way though.
yeah, because like, don't you want to see your favorite superstars and divas jump ship because they won a tournament style thing that makes them better than everyone else up till WrestleMania?
Is that what Sami Zayn's going to do?
I hope so.
Anyways, you said you had three surprise entrants that you believe are going to show up.
Yes, and in the words of the great Paul Heyman, these surprise entrances are consistent if they're from NXT. This is not a surprise appearance. This will be a promotion for them. And my number one is actually the perfect competitor for the number 10 spot, Ty Dillinger. There's been some speculations that the 10th entrant of this year's Rumble might be a surprise entrant. Nobody knows who's going to be in number 10 yet until the day of the Rumble. So, like, you never know. Maybe there's a perfect number 10 competitor out there. I hope it's Dillinger. This might be his like perfect opportunity to like showcase himself to a broader audience. And just imagine everyone yelling 10, 10, 10 in the Alamo Dome.
That would be insane, dude.
But another thing which might be insane, just imagine this: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Buzzer sounds. You hear the piano. And then, glorious. I will
Glorious.
give in.
That's
Yes,
not where I
right.
thought you were going with that.
I said piano. What'd you thought I meant?
Oh, you'll hear where I thought you were going with it. Don't worry, but go on with your Bobby Roode explanation there.
Bobby Roode. Just imagine the Alamo Dome. Everyone singing Bobby Roode's theme of glorious domination. And him going into the Rumble match, not running, but walking. With the light, just a spotlight on him, walking down to the ring.
And the crowd just yelling glorious.
And you hear that one guy's like, I love you, Bobby. And he
Bobby!
ruins everything. He ruins everything. That one guy ruins everything. I blame him.
It's like the one guy that yelled, I believed in you.
I did.
And your number one?
My number one is actually, I believe he might be going to the Hall of Fame this year. A Diamond Dallas Page, because why not? Because
True, why not?
they might announce him in the Hall of Fame. Because there's rumors of the Hall of Fame class, and most of them are either dead or dying, and the only two that I can actually see appearing in the Rumble is DDP and maybe William Regal. But then again, we can't risk Regal's neck, so it's cast to go under DDT in his yoga.
You're not wrong. I mean, my three actually were very... I had like a 5 picked, and 2 of your guys were on my top 3 list. So I guess I'll move down my list to my 5 so that we're not really overlapping any. So in that case, my number 3, imagine you have your 10, but imagine instead of 10, 10, 10, it's the crowd going Joe, Joe, Joe. I see Samoa Joe coming up in this Royal Rumble and just tearing house just the way that AJ Styles did, going as a man on a mission. And sure, everyone's saying, oh, but Samoa Joe might do this, he might do that. No. Samoa Joe has nothing going on that isn't more important than the Royal Rumble, and I see this being a great way to make his debut. My number 2 guy. I know that everyone says, oh, he's out doing this, he's out doing that. I feel like this would be a perfect way to show just how little he cares about everything else. Bring Kenny Omega to the Royal Rumble. Everyone speculates that he's going to be staying in Japan, sort of signing a new contract, but his contract expires. He doesn't have to re-sign it right away. He could, sign a little one night deal maybe at the Royal Rumble, similar to what Bubba Ray Dudley did. I feel like this would be great for Kenny Omega to really get his name out and get a little exposure for himself. I mean, he did just have a 6-star match after all. And it sort of, leaves a foot in the door if he ever decides to come over. And my number 1, I gotta think, imagine, lights go out, and you hear 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, buzzer, piano plays. Oh, yes. Broken Matt Hardy steps out of the spotlight. You can have Brother Nero if you want, but we need Broken Matt in there, showing the world that he still has it, and he still has the perfect gimmick in the entire wrestling world. He can bite some people if he wants, but everyone knows the entire crowd would be right there with him. Delete, 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 delete. And it all hangs on if Jeff Jarrett can sign him to a multi-year deal. But I mean, until then, delete, 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 baby. And that's my top 3.
Huh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because like for my list, I didn't really think like what if they ended up like getting like a 1 day deal for like Omega and Broken Matt. So that's why I didn't pick them, but they were on my list for sure. And you know what? That's this Rumble this year. There's so many variables that you don't even know what might happen this year. And that's what you gotta love about the Royal Rumble season. You never know what might happen.
I guess now we can pick up on the people that announced they were going to be part of it. So far into the Rumble is Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Chris Jericho, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, Seth Rollins, The Undertaker, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, and Dolph Ziggler. And in other matches, you have Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, where Chris Jericho will be in a shark cage, AJ Styles versus John Cena for the WWE title, Charlotte versus Bayley for the women's title, and Rich Swann versus Neville for the Cruiserweight title. Meanwhile, in the NXT neck of the woods, we have NXT TakeOver San Antonio, which it has all the makings to be a really good one, depending on how the wrestlers, work together. Because on paper it's good, but these are guys that haven't really worked all that much together, so I guess we'll just have to see. We got Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Bobby Roode for the NXT title. We got #DIY versus the Authors of Pain for the tag team title. We got Asuka, Nikki Glenn Cross, Billie Kay, and Peyton Royce in a fatal 4-way for the NXT women's title. We got Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young, Roderick Strong versus Andrade Almas. We have No Way Jose versus Elias Sampson, and Samoa Joe versus Austin Aries, which may put a damper in our Samoa Joe prediction, but honestly, I feel like if Sami Zayn can go from running a superb match against Shinsuke Nakamura to being in the Rumble, I feel like he's going to be all
right. That's not what happened.
You're right, but he was on the Raw after Mania, wasn't he? Either way, I feel like he's going to be fine, considering it's not Shinsuke Nakamura killing him. It's going to be Austin Aries, who's just coming off injury. I feel like he's going to be fine for the Rumble.
Yeah. And you know what?
I guess I got my people mixed up. Shut up.
Because I was saying, you got it wrong.
That's a one time that I've ever gotten it wrong, Moggle.
But you know what? For the Rumble, you know how they used to do it? You had one Raw and one SmackDown commentator.
Yes. Do you want Morrow and Corey Graves? Because that's what I want.
No, I want them all.
You want all of them? All 7 people?
Yes.
So you want Morrow, Michael Cole, Tom Phillips, Corey Graves, David Otunga, JBL, and Byron Saxton. And you know what? Throw Austin Aries in there while we're at it. Just have everyone. Throw what's his name? The Desmond.
The new announcer for next.
Yeah, the UK title.
Nigel
ROH
McGuinness.
Guy. Nigel McGuinness. Throw Nigel McGuinness in there. Sorry, the name was slipping me there. Throw Nigel McGuinness in there. Throw Daniel Bryan in there. Just have 10 people at the announce table, please. Throw Funaki in there.
He's just there I have no idea what's going on. He's speaking fluent Japanese. He's speaking Japanese.
Can we get Funaki and Yoshitatsu on commentary?
This good match, I will steal.
I love style. I steal.
But the reason I want this is because what if because there's always one announcer that's in the Rumble, which is a throwaway entrant, and I want Byron Saxton to be everyone's shut up, Byron. Shut up, Byron. They all make fun of him. I just want him to just 3, 2, 1 buzzer sounds. You hear his old NXT theme, and people wait, whose theme is this? Nobody knows who it is. And then all you see is Byron put down his headset, take off his coat, rip off his shirt and pants, and just head into the ring because he's fully dressed to compete.
And you gotta think, out of all of them, Byron's the only one that makes sense. JBL he did it last year, didn't he? Or the year before, something like that?
Yeah. And he got thrown away like instantly.
JBL did it last. He was the last announcer to do it. Michael Cole, he has no reason to do it because he's not doing anything with Jerry Lawler anymore. Corey Graves physically can't compete anymore because he had way too many concussions. Let's see, David Otunga, maybe. Mauro Ranallo isn't a fighter in the least. Byron Saxon seems to be the only go-to candidate, really, other than David Otunga. But honestly, do we really want to see David Otunga in there?
No.
I
I
don't.
even think Whitney Houston. I mean, not whoa, Jennifer Hudson.
Whitney Houston. She's dead.
I don't think Jennifer Hudson wants her husband to be in the wrestling ring anymore. That's what I meant.
I think she kind of likes it.
But that's what I'm just saying. Like, if it has to go down to an announcer, I hope it's Byron Saxton, and I hope all the commentators are out there, and like they're all like yelling. It's like, come on, Byron, get your ass back into the seat, you bastard.
I want to see Byron Saxton fight James Ellsworth.
No, like James Ellsworth's gonna be in the Rumble, and all you see is like Byron Saxton's like, "Hey Ellsworth, how you doing?" Throws him out.
Which makes even more sense for JBL to be in there because JBL is always making fun of James Ellsworth.
I'll watch it. Ellsworth's gonna be in the Final Four. Calling it now.
Ellsworth is going to be the Curtis Axel of this WrestleMania. Not WrestleMania.
He doesn't get eliminated. He never gets eliminated. Yet nobody cares.
Or he's going to get in there and he's going to be the new Santino. He's going to get in and Strowman immediately eliminates him.
Yeah, but you know what? As long as they all have fun, dude, that's the important part.
I'm just happy to be here. I hope Apollo is in this Rumble.
You just see him all smiling. He's just happy.
Smiles.
Man, Apollo Crews is just happy to be there, and we're all happy.
But
and we're all happy to be there.
Does this about sum up the week there? I think that about sums everything up.
Yeah, there isn't really any big New Japan news. All I can really say is the match cards for the New Beginning tour for New Japan are already out.
I guess I have a couple. I don't know if you would really call them rumors or not, because I mean they've kind of been confirmed. But I guess we'll say it. Kenny Omega is questioning leaving Japan, but is also questioning staying there, like kind of taking time, all that sort of thing. They're not sure where he's going, but I guess he hasn't really signed a contract yet, so his options are on the table. But I guess he's thinking about staying in Japan. Chris Hero has officially joined the WWE roster. He's back as Cassius Ohno, and Matt Hardy is not pleased that Brother Hero has joined Mr. Meek Man. And Bobby Lashley is apparently soon to win the TNA title. They filmed him winning the championship, so it's just a matter of time before it hits TVs, lads. And apparently Alberto Del Rio is knocking on the door of TNA Impact, seeing if he can get a job there. So look out for El Patron on the horizon.
Not only that, apparently, today it was filmed. Josh Barnett, yeah, that's right, Mr. I commentate on New Japan on Access TV. Technically won the TNA World Title tonight, but they had to refilm it. They had to redo the match because apparently some stipulation happened, and Bobby Lashley wins the title back again. So
and of course, earlier news from a couple days ago. Cody Hall has officially left New Japan, left the Bullet Club, and will be going elsewhere, it seems. So it's sad to see the son of Scott Hall go after being in the Bullet Club for a good 2 years, but I mean, hopefully he finds what he's looking for.
That's right. And not only New Japan news, the official match cards for the 2 days of the New Beginning Tour are out there. That's right. For those of you who do not know, the New Beginning Tour is kind of the official startup for the New Japan season, because you have some of your best matches. You have Beretta and Romero facing off against Tachi and Taka Michinoku of Suzuki-gun for the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championships, the Never Openweight Championship. Goto, the current champion, will be facing off against Juice Robinson for the Never Openweight title. the IWGP Tag Team Championships will be on the line in another triple threat tag team match, which will be the current champions of Toru Yano and his slave Tomohiro Ishii, because it doesn't seem like he wants to hold that title, against Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Hanma. The Misters I hit people really hard, and Mr. I can barely hear myself here. I can barely speak well because my voice box is shattered, facing off against the Killer Elite Squad of Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer. To end that first night of competition on February the 5th will be the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match between Kazuchika Okada defending the title against my favorite wrestler of all time, Minoru fucking Suzuki. Somebody's gonna fucking die, and I hope it's Okada because I really want Suzuki-gun to be on top again.
Are you just going to brush over the fact that Taka Michinoku was going for a world title? And Juice Robinson is going for a title as well?
What year are we in?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Not only that, the second day of the New Beginning Tour, February 11th, the 4 matchups will be the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships with the current champions of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Love and Energy himself, with Monster Morning himself, Nakanishi Mondo, Manabo, whatever the fuck his first name is, and everyone's favorite Manabo, and everyone's
from Xenoblade,
and everyone's favorite crazy uncle himself, Ryusuke Taguchi, defending the titles against Evil, Bushi, and Sanada of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Okay, apparently they have 2 matches together, so I'm assuming that's a typo. But the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team, the Junior Heavyweight Championship match, Hiromu Takahashi himself, Mr. Time Bomb, will be facing off against his CMLL rival Dragon Lee for the title. And I'm just gonna say this now: if Dragon Lee does win the belt, what does this mean for CMLL? One of their own.
For the Time Bomb. After winning such a violent match against the Time Splitter, to lose it this early against a CML guy?
Apparently, they have a really dangerous rivalry. Like, they've been trying to kill each other for the past few years. And to top it all off, it'll be the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match. Tetsuya Naito defending against Michael Elgin. And for the honor of his best friend, Tanahashi, Elgin must win to restore the honor. And also, I don't care about any of these matches because one match will loom the others. Katsura Shibata, if he wins his title defense for the British Undisputed Heavyweight Championship this coming few weeks, he will be defending that title against Will Ospreay on February the 11th. It will be the official day that we will bury Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, we love you. We will miss you. But please, sir, you're going to fucking die. You're going to die.
Will Ospreay.
You're going to die.
This isn't Ricochet, dude. It's just not looking good for you, man.
Like, you think Suzuki and Shibata are the only 2 guys in New Japan right now where I just kind of say, you know what, I want to face them. I'll piss myself doing it. I'll die doing it, but I'll die happy.
It'll be worth it.
Yes, it will.
That's about a recap on the upcomings, right?
Yeah, as of right now, doesn't seem like Noah will be doing anything as of late. They recently had a show in Kirkenhall, and they could barely fill up the place, and it's a damn shame because I actually saw the main event of that event, and it was actually a really good event.
Guys, if you live in Japan, go check out some Noah shows. Like, come on, man, help them out.
Look.
Like, I know you all are hungover from New Japan, but give Noah a chance, dude. They've got some real good matches. They're basically the TNA of Japan.
But except, they actually have quality matches. Like, I can watch a Noah show and say, you know what? Each match was pretty good. Like, each match was great. But, it's like that whole thing with Misawa dying, Kenta Kobashi retiring. Like, it kind of was a downfall for them. And I just hope they're hoping that this year will be the rise of not only Noah, but all Japan Pro Wrestling. Because you know what? I really want all 3 promotions to work together. and, you know, like raise the bar of Japanese wrestling.
You know what I really want? I really want Maven to show up in the Royal Rumble and dropkick Undertaker over the ropes.
So for what? So you can see him die again?
Just so history can repeat itself and the Undertaker will never be in another Royal Rumble because you know what's going to happen. Anyways, thank you all for listening to the Can You Handle This cast. If you enjoy what you listen to, saw, I guess listen to would be the more go-to because you don't really see us all that much. If you enjoyed what you listen to, make sure you give it a thumbs up down there. If you want to give us some ideas on what to talk about in a later episode, another top 5 maybe, feel free to leave a comment down there. Make sure you're subscribed and you make sure that notifications are turned on so you get information sent right to your phone every time that we upload a new video. Make sure you follow our Twitters, make sure you follow our Twitch, make sure you join the Discord, make sure you join the Steam group, make sure you are up to date with everything possibly going on in the Can You Handle This cast and the Can You Handle This group. Make sure that you are especially joined to the Steam group because once we hit 50 members, we will be giving away some free games. So, hey, there you go. Any parting words there, Salvadoom?
All I have to say is you never know what's going to happen in the WWE. Let's just hope this Rumble is actually pretty good.
I guess we'll see as more people join it. Anyways, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week, baby.
North, south, east to west, everybody know our name. And if your dad is gone, but your mama's home, we can bring it, we ain't got no shame. Up, down, turn it around, girl, I can be the one to blame.